Hello everyone. Welcome to Afro News South Africa. To support this channel, please kindly subscribe and share. Turn on the notification bell so you won't be left out in any video. All overseas nationals are in mourning as President Cyril Ramaphosa receives equipped to put into effect the brand new regulation. President Cyril Ramaphosa introduced on Sunday that he could increase a brand new regulation for all overseas nationals after receiving severe lawsuits, approximately unlawful acts dedicated via way of means of overseas persons, mainly the ones from Nigeria and Zimbabwe. The Ramoba weblog reviews that President Cyril Ramaphosa plans to enact a brand new rule requiring traffic to South Africa to attain a legitimate driver's license earlier than running a car on South African soil. Some of the modifications to the regulation are as follows. Even if a person is in ownership of a legitimate expert driver's license from any other survey, South African regulation prohibits them from running an industrial car. New legal guidelines may be added via way of means of the authorities, via way of means of the Quid of November. In reaction to reviews of hijackings dedicated via way of means of overseas nationals, mainly the ones from Nigeria and Zimbabwe, the authorities has been forced to behavior exams throughout all industries, inclusive of restaurants, fuel line stations, and creation companies, and put in force regulations. Young humans on this survey have extra to provide than simply their vote. As a result, they ought to be prioritized for employment. The second issue to consider is whether or not now no longer foreigners ought to be allowed to run offerings like restaurants, spas, and splendor parlors. It is essential to help small companies in South Africa in recruiting and hiring South Africans. Again, welcome back President Zuma. There has been a huge political vacuum in the last 1 year and 5 months. It is time for real politics again. To the myriad demanding situations SA faces, Zuma ought to be introduced to the list. To reaffirm the guideline of thumb of regulation and undo the harm of country capture, the July riots and different ills to have bedeviled our loved survey, the regulation has to take its root on Zuma and his cronies. They have already broken there on the electricity plant, looks as if an antique harm though, simply to justify the upcoming load shedding. We need to listen the opposite side, this is very important. Here in our country we're spoiled for choice. Yours does not ought to mine. Kalumum Shalozi people like former President Zuma ought to now no longer and besides communicate approximately or tambo. They've such a lot of accusations, wherein one could have concept that he'll do something, and the whole thing to make certain he clears his call period.